Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the real world alternate history scenario. And you'll notice some things have changed. Mostly the watercolor, but there's rivers now. And these rivers, they're a load of fun. I've modified all the borders in the world to kind of pay respect to these rivers. So you can see most of these European borders, except here, they go along the rivers, and that's made some questionable positions, like here, which I'm going to fix. Okay, it's not supposed to be like that. Yeah, so there are some interesting scenarios now, and it's a lot different all around, really, and it's gonna change a lot of stuff about warfare, really, because to cross a river it takes a lot of power, a lot of manpower, and it's very dangerous. So you see, I've added a bunch of major rivers. I tried my best. I kind of followed this little map I found that I overlaid, but it's not perfect. So they're not perfect, but we have major ones, Mississippi, Rio Grande, the Amazon, the Nile, the Niger. I think this is the Zambia. This is the Congo. Here's the yellow, the Yangtze, the Indus, um, this one in Australia, and Mesopotamia over here, which is interesting. I think I'm going to modify some of these borders to pay their respects to these rivers, so it looks a lot nicer all around. And I'm going to widen out these rivers. A lot of this episode is going to be map fixation. There's a lot less land to go around, kind of, because the changes. And as per usual, these episodes are uncut, so you get the whole thing, unlike the fantasy series, where it's cut up to save time and make it higher quality. Oh, I still have anti-aliased borders here. That's strange. So I'm gonna be fixing around these things every once in a while in this episode. So just don't mind trying to make the map look a little nicer. I think I'm gonna change the color again. I don't really like it. Maybe a dark blue. Yeah, that's good. Very dark blue, so it doesn't really conflict with too many colors. There's just not going to be a lot of dark nations, probably. Yeah, this doesn't look all that bad. Let me change the color of the glow. So it's a little noticeable. Yeah, right here. Okay, well, here we are. This is the new map we have. Yeah, I think I might give the water a glow again, because it's I might have to redo the glow so it affects the water. There we go. Is that good? I don't know. Uh-oh. Okay. This is not going perfectly. Like Victoria. I don't know why Lake Malawi is not on here, but it's whatever. Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, that's interesting to say. So can I still? Yeah, I can. Hold on, making a lot of changes here. Okay, so there is the glow. Very good. This will become the glow layer, and I'm gonna select this all and can I paste it on top of each other to make it bigger? No, that's not gonna work. Okay, that usually works. I want to make it even darker. Ooh, that's actually not bad. We just yeah, that makes all the land kind of have an effect on the ocean. I like that. Wow, that is holy moly. That's interesting. But here we are. This is our new map. All good looking. And is there a way I can change this any more to make it look any better? I don't think so. Anyways, I think we should actually start with the video in a second. I'm going to clean up this border. Just push them away from the capital a little bit. Make your own lore about that. So, where should we begin? Where should we begin? Probably Germany, because this nation right here, it's very, very large. And also, I'm going to make more changes to the borders, I said it was done. Right. It's getting very large, and that's a good thing this time around. It's going to start invading. This is starting to become, the era of empires, whatnot. So countries can kind of hold themselves together a little better. The first target they have is this country up here in Schleswig and this area here. I think it's around Wolgast or Pomerania, Pomerania. So they are going to invade with their pretty large army, and they're going to reach the ports, and they're going to steamroll through this nation pretty easily. And yeah, they stood no chance. So the peace treaty is signed, and the terms are simple: full annexation under this new nation, or the same nation, and their city is destroyed. Well, it's not destroyed, it's just not on the map anymore because it's not a capital. Sorry for my squeaky chair. I'm sorry I'm talking so quiet. It's very late at night. It really is. Anyways, next target they have is this little island here of Copenhagen. They're going to feed. They're going to feed. What? They're going to see a little bit more resistance here. They're going to try a few sieges, but those are going to fail. So they're going to try to get some more angles, and they're going to cut off this access. And they're going to invade, and they're going to succeed. And they're going to fully annex these people. And then they're going to do the final invasion into this kind of Denmark nation, and they're going to be very successful once again. And they're going to make their peace treaty because they surrender pretty fast. That's not gory enough. Oh yeah. Okay, that's too spiky. Hold on. That's too straight. Whatever. It works. They take only a little bit of territory from there. Anyways, they're looking a lot larger. Good for them. And these Norwegians are going to expand upwards a bunch because they can do that now. They're going to expand upwards, and it's going to get cold, very cold, but they're kind of used to that, so they're going to continue moving, and they're going to get all the way up there. The Swedish nation is going to do the exact same, and they're going to expand upwards. until they reach that point. Anyways, this Danish nation is in need of land, so they're going to, first of all, get kicked out of this whole area by the Swedes. They're going to take a bunch of this crappy, mountainous and snowy land themselves, which is going to be very successful since there's nobody to stop them. So, some big changes in Germany. Anyways, another war is going to break out between these two, and this purple nation is going to start by invading this lighter purple nation. They are the aggressor, and it's doing pretty well for them until they start getting pushed back a little. And these nations aren't exactly rich. These ones over here in the Baltics, they don't have a lot of contact with the outside world. So they're going to slowly invade each other, pushing each other back and forth, until they just explode. They both explode. I'm going to fill these in as one because there's about to be a lot of redrawing here. First of all, this very large coastal Pomeranian nation will break off and snatch some land. Oh, that's using image, so it's okay. They get a bunch of land there. They're looking. Well, is that color too similar to any others? I don't think so. I'm gonna start using more different colors for these color groups. Anyways, another nation is going to break off here in around Lithuania. Very good, very good. Another day, another nation, and that's kind of it for now. And these nations are going to relocate their capitals because I forgot where they are already, and they're going to have to make new ones anyways because the old ones got destroyed. These ones are going to put their capital right down here. Not a good position. These guys right here, I think that's around Danzig in the modern world. Not sure. Well, Danzig's not a thing anymore, I don't think. Lithuania and Riga. Okay. I still don't know why Estonia looks like this. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna fix it yet because I'm gonna have to redo the little shading here if I do that. Also, what is that? So, a lot of changes in Northern Europe, a lot of new nations in specific. And you know what I just realized? These countries up here don't have capitals. So right there and right there. Wrong color. I'm gonna move it up a little bit. That's bad. These guys are just gonna put their capital in the middle of nowhere. Basically everywhere that isn't Oslo or Borden in Norway is it Borden or Burden? I'm stupid. It's Burden, isn't it? I don't know. Anywhere that isn't those two places is just nowhere, apparently. What to do next? What to do next? Oh yes, this Persian nation here. We're going to do some expansion. Some regular old expansion along the... Okay, I'm using the wrong thing. We're going to do some standard expansion along... Oh my god. We're going to do some standard expansion along the Tigris River. It's the Euphrates is in the south, right? So they're going to make some large expansions because a lot of this land is free for the taking. Anyways, Egypt is going to lose some land here because I don't like how it's going like that. Speaking of which, they're going to lose even more land. You want to know why? Because there's going to be rebels. There's going to be a rebellion over here. And this new creamy nation is going to be created over here. And they're not going to do too much about it because nobody cares about rebels, apparently, in this world. Boom, shakalaka. Cool. And the first thing this new nation is going to do, now that they've declared independence for absolutely no damn reason, is they're going to move down here. They're going to move along the Nile and take over a bunch of land and then fill this area in. Boom. And they don't have that yet, but they do have that. And they're going to put their capital, and I just noticed Persia doesn't have a capital either. They're going to put their capital right here. I think that's where Port of Sudan is. No, Port of Sudan's right there. Whatever. Screw it. They're going to put it in the middle of nowhere. Because they can. These guys are going to put their capital at the tip of the UAE. The modern UAE. I just did something there. Yeah, I flipped it. Okay. Interesting. Anyways, a new nation is going to form in between the rivers here. Kind of a Mesopotamian nation. And it's going to be this nice little kind of burgundy color, Byzantine color. There you go. So this huge nation just formed, and nobody's going to stop them really because they don't want to. These guys are going to fix their border on the Tigris. Beautiful. So this new large burgundy-colored nation has been created. Is that burgundy? It's more Byzantine. I said that, and I forgot because I'm silly. Okay, well, anyways. The Empire of Greece is going to do Empire of Greece activities, and they're going to invade this country right here, who they invaded once, and the treaty is expired. So they're going to cross this strait, they're going to cross the Bosphorus Strait, and they're going to cut off the coastline and move through, is this Kandar area? I don't know the Roman names for the Turkey. And they're just going to steamroll through here. I just noticed this nation doesn't have a capital either. Okay. So, they destroy that nation pretty easily, and it's gone. It's wiped off the map. Because Greece is greedy. And they're going to draw a new border with these guys. Because I don't like it how it is right now. Beautiful. So, Greece has expanded their SOI again. They're going to destroy Cyprus for no reason, because they can, really. And that's good for them. And they're looking a little big now. And that's strange. I didn't see that. The kind of truce from the big war between these two has expired, and they're going to do what they do, and they're going to attack. Oh, wait, who is it? They're going to attack. Oh yeah, they're going to make an alliance because they can do that. Who are they going to make an alliance with? Make your guess, because I haven't found out yet. They're going to make an alliance with Israel right here. Yeah, it's a little bit unholy, but it's going to be called the one, the only, the Holy Alliance. Yeah. I should make a religion map, but there's a huge religion in around a circle over here, and then there's another religion kind of up here a little bit. There's a lot of different religions, but all you need to know is Greece invented a religion, and these guys took that religion as well. And Egypt uses it too, I'm pretty sure. Or they use a different religion because they're Egyptian. Yeah, let's just say that. And that's exactly why Greece is about to declare war on them. They're going to invade, and they're not going to be too successful. But what Egypt doesn't know is that the Israelis are going to join them, and they're going to completely invade the Sinai Peninsula before they're stopped by troops. And now they're fighting a two-front war, which is not good for them. Oh, these guys are going to join in to get the lick, because they just declared independence, and they have to fight a war. Well, they have to fight a war now. I just say they've been fighting for a little bit. So these guys are quite successful in breakthrough, and so are the Greeks. And ultimately, a kind of truce is established between these three. So Israel gets the Sinai, Greece gets more of Western Egypt, and this nation, this kind of Yellow Nile nation, takes over some of southern Egypt. They don't take over that much, actually. Egypt gets to keep a little bit because they're Egypt. So Egypt's in need of more land, so they're going to expand down the Nile because they do that. But they're going to be stopped by these guys who also kind of control some of this area around here. Not exactly own, though. So Greece is looking very, very large, which is good for them. Very good for them. Anyways, Turkey and this dark green nation, they're going to form an alliance. And this alliance is going to be against a kind of common enemy. Actually, two common enemies. They're kind of mutually assisting each other against each other's enemies. So, the dark green nation is up against this Pontic nation. This nation, no, Pontic. Yeah. Wait. Okay. I'd forget. And these guys are up against, Greece and Israel for the most part. So we have this rival alliance, and out of fear of invasion, who else is going to join that? They're going to get Egypt in the war. Okay, I think I'm gonna just highlight their capital. Or no, I'm just gonna draw a line through. You know what I'm doing. Let's do some cool design here. These guys are kind of just busting through. Oh well, you get the point. The triple alliance here, it's a very tall alliance, and that's not good because this is pretty early in the days, so they're having some trouble getting to each other. Anyways, a war is going to be declared against who? The light lime nation here, and the aggressor is, of course, the dark green nation, and they're going to call their allies, who have already stationed their troops over here. Egypt's going to take a little while because they just joined. And they're going to... Okay, I'm on the wrong thing. They're going to immediately push up over here and take it completely. They're going to push up Crimea, although there were some troops stationed there already. However, they're very effective in taking the coastline here. And they push and they push. It's very slow advance because this nation's fairly powerful because they're fairly old. And they push even farther until ultimately these guys are like, okay, calm down. But the Dark Green Nation is like, you took all my territory, so no. And they completely take over the western side of the river here. And then they do something very, very dangerous, a river crossing. They try it once, they fail. They try it twice, they fail. They try a third time, they fail. They've lost a few thousand troops doing that. But now they're just going to sit across the river and wait. They're going to be like, okay, pal, you better give up or we're just going to start executing hostages. How about that? Hostage warfare is a thing. Negotiation. Sorry, I just had to clean them up a little bit. So, after a few years maybe of waiting, these guys are just going to, they're going to give up. And the peace treaty is quite simple, quite simple. They basically keep all of this. Yeah. And now the Stark Green team has eclipsed the Light Green team and have been restored to their former glory, which is very nice. We have a very large Crimean empire, and they're going to remain in the alliance to help these guys when they eventually get attacked by Greece, because it's basically inevitable. They've tried to join Greece, but they deny. So war is basically unstoppable. Anyways, Greece isn't going to do anything at all. Yeah, Greece isn't going to do anything. Anyways, this very, very large nation has been sitting here for way too long. And I think it's about time it split in half. So that's exactly what's going to happen. So they're going to cut down the middle here. Okay, that's very bad looking. It's going to be a very gory border because it's still they're still kind of debating the territories. There's even going to be a little exclave here, which is absolutely horrible. This is the worst looking country so far. But you know, it's inevitable, man. There's going to be terrible borders eventually, and this is one of them. This is very much one of them. This is the this is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So this new northern nation has been created, and they look horrible. They're also very unstable, very weak. You know, the whole Shazam. And where are they going to put their capital? Right in the middle, because they're kind of smart. They have pretty good leadership, despite being so crappy. Anyways, this Lithuanian nation is going to make some large expansions into Europe over here. They're going to just boom. Sorry, I'm making sound effects from my mouth, like a little child. So this very large nation is here. They're fighting a war, by the way. It's just not making any progress. Okay, I'm gonna lighten the border just a little bit. Okay, I'm basically going to almost eliminate it, except this large thing in the east is going to remain slightly less gory now. Anyways, Iberia, they're not happy. They're not happy with this nation right here because this nation just signed an alliance pact with guess who? You have a few seconds. You have a few seconds to guess. Yep, they joined the Empire of North Africa. Did he expect that? No, it's not exactly the Empire of North Africa. It's just the Empire of the Mediterranean. Let's say the Empire of the Mediterranean. That's much better. And they're not going to like this. So Asturias, right here, they're going to declare war. And how the empire works is only the emperor has to defend against only the emperor has to help defend. All these other guys aren't. They can attack each other. They can attack the emperor. They can attack that guy. They can do whatever they want, really, unless they're in a separate alliance. Like if I had it like this, then they have to defend each other. If there's no star in the alliance, then that means it's a defensive alliance. If not, then it's an empire, a holy alliance. Let's just say. Anywho, this war breaks out. Asturias declares war, but it's a little bit too late because the empire's drawn in. However, we have the entire Iberian alliance here. Oh, and the Bluers are going to join in because they're very loyal. And these guys, like Tlemcen almost. I play a lot of EU4. So these fellows are going to start invading, and they're going to have a lot of success because they have the multiple powers. These guys are going to just push straight in, and these guys are going to push up through here, and they're going to take the capital, and these guys are just going to get destroyed, basically. No mercy was shown. However, while all that was happening, the capital fell. Yikes. So, all these troops are marching down here while these guys are making large expansions into Gibraltar. However, the troops have arrived, and this is a very large alliance against a slightly smaller alliance. Well, not a smaller alliance, but a smaller war. And ultimately, the capital is retaken, and they start pushing across the Strait of Gibraltar. They establish kind of a little beachhead here instead of sieging the city directly, which is a bad decision. And they start moving down the coast to kind of siege the coast. Eventually, they do siege the city, and they succeed. And that's not good for Morocco. Morocco is very weak down here, and these guys are going to push down there, all the way down to here, to be specific. So they take a lot of territory in this invasion, and then they start pushing for the capital of Tlemcen, and they are successful. And that's kind of the breaking point of the war. It's over. I have to undo all of this so I can make a peace deal. Yep. Any minute now. Okay. So, peace deal is a little bit simple. Asturias takes all of this. Wow, the Empire's first war, they lost. Not a good sign. Well, and these guys are going to take a bunch of territory because they're very greedy bastards. So Gascony got kind of screwed. Oh, and they're forced to leave the Empire because it was nice while it lasted. It was a strange relationship, but it was nice while it lasted. It wasn't really. It caused the. You're gonna see. Anyways, these guys are going to take over the capital over here of the Emperor. Yeah, they took the capital from the Emperor, and they take a little bit of territory here too. Do you see why this would be bad, possibly, for the Emperor? Yeah, the Emperor... We're going to have to redraw this, so we're going to move their capital right here. And they're no longer the Emperor, obviously. So the Emperor is not looking too good. Their southern province here is also forced to be relinquished under new rule, while it's not too powerful. So, not good for the Empire. Is that too similar to the other nations? Let's do that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so, a lot of bad things happened. A lot of bad things happened for the Emperor. They moved their capital down here, and these guys put their capital right here, as they can. They're, of course, going to remain in the Empire, although a little bit crippled. These guys are also going to join the Empire, because they are imperial territory. There were no regulations on that. Anyways, who's the new emperor going to be? Make your guess. You're right. It's Sicily. Sicily has a lot of control over the Mediterranean here, which is perfect for an emperor because it will be a little bit difficult to invade them. So, they're going to become the emperor. La la. Look at you, Sicily. Boom, you get a star. So, Sicily is now the emperor. I'll fix that later. Who cares? And the world's looking a lot kind of different. Mostly North Africa has been messed up a lot. Yeah. Anyways, Caucasia here is going to make some expansions, you know, nothing new. Expansion this, expansion that. And we're starting to approach kind of, you know, the age of empires, sort of. Not too crazy. But nations are starting to be able to hold themselves together. You know, they're a lot larger now, and some things are going to happen in Iberia again. First of all, Castile is going to merge with this larger Aragonese nation. Good for them. And Galicia is going to merge with this nation. So now there's only 3 powers over here, and these two are going to divide up Asturias. So they're both equal in power. Of course, this is all consented to by Asturias. Basically, they're forming a better union by destroying each other, basically. Well, not destroying each other, but taking each other's sovereignty. And I don't remember where. Okay. So, the Iberian Pact has gotten a little bit smaller, but also these nations are a lot more powerful, which is good for them. And it's looking a lot different in Iberia. It's a lot more united. I just don't like how there's so many different nations here. Anyways, the southern French nation is going to invade Gascony, who just got invaded, so it's not going to go well for them. In conclusion, they lose, and they lose a lot of territory. In fact, I think I'm just in a full annexation. So that's the end of Gascony. They've been around for a solid episode, maybe. Have they been around for only one episode? I don't know. I don't pay attention to that too much. And this larger southern French nation has formed, which is cool, I guess. What else? Oh, yeah, Britain. Not too much has changed. These two are very friendly with each other, if I recall, and they're going to form an alliance because I want them to, because they're so cool. And I think didn't they fight for independence together? I don't recall. Anyways, this English nation here is going to invade Cornwall because that's just what they do, and they're going to be quite successful. And they're going to push in, take a bunch of territory, and leave. Boom. So Cornwall's been screwed, kind of, and now they're going to be invaded again by Brittany, who's going to navally land, which is very difficult, and they're going to push over, take over Cornwall, and Cornwall's done. They've been full annexed. Not very good. Anyways, Northumberland is going to invade Wales. Very cool. And they're going to completely destroy them. However, in the process, they were invaded from the north by Scotland without even noticing, and they lost a lot of territory. Not good for them. Oh yeah, Wales. They still exist, actually. I lied. They just exist in Ireland now, so they're not exactly Wales. They're more Leinster, I guess. And they're going to plead. They're going to beg for forgiveness from the Irish. And forgiveness they'll be given. And they're going to join the alliance of Ireland, I guess. This large alliance right here. It's kind of like a square. Okay, I don't like that. I'm just gonna hold on. We're gonna form a triangle. Yeah, or like that. I think they're kind of like roads. Anywho, large alliances formed in Ireland, and Leinster has been forgiven for their sins of former colonization of Ireland because there's a much larger threat, and they're gonna need all they can, even though they just lost a war, which is not good. Yeah. Anyways, that's enough out of Britain. Oh yeah, good news. Iceland was just discovered by guess who? The Scottish. Yeah. You thought it was gonna be the Norwegians? No, it's Scottish. And I'm on the wrong layer. Isn't that brilliant? The Scottish are gonna land in Iceland, and they're gonna be like, "What the hell?" And they're going to leave after setting up a little colony with a few people there. Those people are gonna die, and the colony's gonna die. So, good game. I just twisted the world again. GG's, I guess. Anyways, a lot has changed in these past few years, and I think now is not a good time to end off the video because I have a lot of time on my hands. Now what's going to happen is another war, this time with Israel against this country, and they're going to push in and attack, and they're going to kill. They're going to kill a lot of people. They're not exactly the Israel we know. They're a little bit more moral. They're still barbaric. And they're going to push in for the countryside and take over the coast right here and start encircling the capital. They take it quite easily. Nobody really comes to these guys' help, so they're kind of screwed. And the losses are tremendous. Instead of full annexation, they're left to live and tell the tale of Israel. And Israel is starting to become kind of like Western Arabia. I think I'm going to start calling them that now. Anyways, this new nation has to migrate to find more viable land. Of course, there's still some good land out here, but not really good land. They also have land in Africa. A lot of land around Djibouti. They set up a colony. Anyways, they continue going around the coast of Aden, and they meet up with the Persian nation, who's very friendly. I have a theme, and it's making friendly orange nations. I've just now noticed that. Orange, not orange, brown nations. Explorer nations in specific. Because explorers are nice people, I think. Is Christopher Columbus nice? Probably not. They're also going to expand their area here and their colony in Djibouti. Good for them. They've kind of reestablished themselves. And now that they found a viable spot, they're going to put their new capital right here, which is a very powerful location when it comes to trade, especially. So good for them. I say that a lot. Good for them. Good for that. Good for who? Good for them. Okay, so a lot's happening. And these guys along the coast here are going to expand. They're going to expand a whole bunch along the coast because there's a lot to be explored and they don't have a lot of land to begin with. So they're going to explore down here until they get to the Gambia. I believe this is the Gambia. And then they're going to stop. This is very scarcely populated land for the most part. So it's not too crazy. A few people cross the river. They mostly die. Yeah, their colonies are forgotten. They die a terrible fate. What a shame. So there's this new large West African nation. Very cool. The Norwegians are also exploring some more. Very cool. And the Scottish are like, okay, we're going to go up to Iceland and we're going to set up an actual colony. Psych! The Irish got there first. And they set up a large colony here. But the Scottish don't like this. So they go around to the West Fjords and they set up their colony in the West Fjords. And ultimately the island is split up between the two. Colonies are kind of a thing. They're also kind of not a thing. Okay. I have to draw through the water because that's like that. Okay, so Scotland is in the west and Ireland's in the east. It's kind of odd because Scotland had to do a kind of flankeroo to get there. Oh yeah, they're also going to set sail and discover Greenland, but those people are all going to no, they're not going to die. They're going to be a little bit more successful, but they're not going to get far. It's very not good for people. But hey, we're one step closer to discovering the Americas before Asia or China have even been discovered, by the way. Speaking of which, a bunch of explorers, I wonder where I've seen this plot before, a bunch of explorers from a bunch of Asian countries are going to set sail, not set sail, but set foot, and they're going to go. They discovered the Indus River, and they built a country there. Oh, we're gonna put it on one side of the river. So they discovered the Indus River, and then they keep setting sail. And I think this is the Ganges. I'm probably saying something really stupid right now. So they're going to build another nation right here. Boom. And they're gonna keep going. They're gonna reproduce a bunch. They're gonna bang. They're gonna shang, and then they're gonna keep on exploring. They're gonna expand this colony a bunch. They're going to cross the Indus in this colony. huge explorations are being made. This is all mostly happening while all that other stuff is happening, so keep that in mind. And they're going to set sail. They're going to discover this river here that I forgot the name of, and they're going to make a country there because they can. Mostly down here, and along the coast here of modern day Vietnam. And then they're going to keep setting sail. They're going to keep setting sail until they finally get to the Yangtze River. Is that the Yangtze River? I don't know. And they're going to make a country there. The first Chinese nation has been created. It's a quite fertile river, so they're going to take advantage of that. Okay, so Asia has just been mass discovered while all that was happening. And these colonies aren't too large. They're not even colonies. They're their own nation. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change the color of this one. Because I don't like it. It's going to be a little creamier now. There we are. Not to be confused with these guys. They're pretty far away. Okay, I'm just going to change it back, actually. So you can kind of tell the difference. These guys are too far. You'll basically know they're different, yeah. Anyways, these guys have to establish capitals, and I'm going to end the video because it's 2 a.m. So, these guys put it where they discovered the Indus. These guys put it where the rivers meet. These guys put it where they find the coast. And these guys put it where the land is fertile most. Very poetic. I'm going to make it black because it's there. Okay, so I'm going to end off the video now. Thanks for watching. Huge episode. Bye.